In this video, I will be talking about how to approximate a square root of a number. So I have a couple problems for us to work through here. Let's take a look at the first one, the square root of 17. So to approximate the square root of 17, we first need to think, what whole numbers can we square to get close to 17? So let's think about 3 squared is 9. So that's kind of close to 17, but let's see if we can get even closer. 4 squared is 16. So that's pretty close to 17. Let's check the next number. 5 squared would be 25. So that's too much. So we want to find the whole number that gets us close to 17 without going over. So in this case, it would be 4. That's the closest we can get because 4 squared is 16. So we know that the approximate square root of 17 is 4 with something after it, some fraction or some decimal after it. So to find that fraction, here's a cool trick that we can use. First, take the difference of 17 minus 16. 17 minus 16. That's just 1. And then we can divide that by this number squared, the number that we used. So 4 squared we said was 16. So 4 doubled is 8. So we can do 1 divided by 8. And that is roughly what the fraction portion of this number is. So the square root of 17 is roughly equal to 4 and 1/8. Now if you happen to know the decimal form of 1/8, you can go ahead and write that. That's 4.125. Now, if you plug the square root of 17 into a calculator, you will find that it is equal to 4.1231 with a bunch of other numbers after it. So our approximation of 4.125 is pretty close to the actual answer of 4.1231. All right, let's try our second example, the square root of 68. So we'll use the same process. Let's think about what numbers squared get us close to 68. Well, 7 squared is 49. That's kind of close, but I think we can get even closer. What about 8 squared? 8 times 8. That would be 64. So that's pretty close to 68. Let's try one more. 9 squared. That would be 81. So that's too high. Remember, we want to try to find the number squared that gets us close to 68 without going over. So that number would be 8. So the square root of 68 is about 8, and then there will be some fraction or some decimal that comes after the 8. So let's use our trick again that we used in the first example. Do 68 minus 64. 68 minus 64 is 4. And then we just divide that by this number doubled. So 8 doubled is 16. 4/16. And if we want, we can simplify that to 1/4. So that is the fraction portion of our number up here. And if you happen to know the decimal form of 1/4, you can go ahead and write that too. So that's 8.25. And if you plug in the square root of 68 into a calculator, you will find that it is equal to 8.246 with a bunch of other numbers that come after it. But our approximation of 8.25 is pretty close to the actual square root of 68, which is 8.2462. All right, thanks for watching.